It's one of Britain's most beloved sitcoms, mixing small village charm with outrageous comedy. But behind the pulpit of the Vicar of Dibley are shocking stories you never saw coming. Fact 1.
I've just watched the entire Spurs match from right in front of David Ginola's shorts.
It's hard to imagine anyone but Dawn French as Geraldine Granger, but the role was originally offered to another actress. Producers first approached Maggie Smith, famous for Downton Abbey and Harry Potter. She turned it down, feeling the comedy was too modern for her style. Richard Curtis then suggested Dawn French, who jumped at the chance. French's warmth and comedic timing transformed the character. She brought energy that made the vicar fun, cheeky and relatable. Her casting also helped the BBC attract a younger audience. The decision changed the entire tone of the show. With Smith, the humour might have been more restrained. With French, it became bolder and more playful. Curtis said he knew within minutes she was perfect. French herself called it the role of my life. It proved casting can make or break a sitcom. Viewers instantly fell in love with her performance. The show's long-running success owes much to that one decision, and it made Dawn French a national treasure.
4 women bishops, that's 4 women bishops.
Fact 2.
God, your father's handsome when he's angry, isn't he?
When The Vicar of Dibley was first announced, church officials were nervous. It was one of the first comedies to feature a female vicar. Some feared it would mock religion and upset parishioners. Letters of complaint arrived before the first episode aired. Richard Curtis reassured critics it would be respectful and affectionate. The BBC even invited church leaders to preview the pilot. Once they saw the warmth of Geraldine's character, many were won over. The show became an unlikely PR boost for female clergy. Some vicars even said it inspired women to join the ministry. French received thank you letters from real vicars. The series balanced gentle satire with genuine respect. It portrayed faith as part of community life rather than a target. The controversy faded as the show's popularity grew. By the second series, it had church fans across the UK. It showed comedy and religion could coexist, and it turned initial doubters into lifelong supporters. A sitcom had quietly helped change attitudes in real life.
Why these two should not be joined together in holy matrimony. Let them speak now.
Fact 3.
Vicar? A chocolate Jesus. Not a chocolate Judas.
One of the most famous scenes involves Geraldine diving into a chocolate fountain. On screen, it looked delicious and hilarious. In reality, it was a logistical disaster. The chocolate was actually a special food-safe syrup. Under hot studio lights, it became sticky and unpleasant. Dawn French had to stay covered in it for hours between takes. The crew struggled to reset the fountain each time. Costume changes were constant because the syrup stained badly. French joked she smelled like a sweet shop for a week. The scene required multiple cameras to capture reactions. Props staff had buckets of warm water ready for cleanup. Despite the mess, the scene became iconic. French said she'd do it again for the laugh. Fans still cite it as one of the funniest moments in the series. It proved physical comedy could be both miserable and brilliant. The crew called it the stickiest shoot in BBC history, and it's now part of sitcom legend.
Oh, I really don't know what to say now.
Fact 4.
She's a woman.
Oh, you noticed? These are such a giveaway, aren't they?
Curtis was juggling multiple projects while working on the show. He sometimes had to write scripts in under a week. This led to long, intense writing sessions. Curtis relied heavily on his knack for sharp dialogue. Some of the funniest lines were written overnight. He often drew inspiration from real village life in Oxfordshire. Local gossip, odd traditions and church events made it into scripts. Curtis believed quick writing kept the humour fresh. French admired his ability to blend heart and comedy. Even last-minute scripts maintained the show's charm. Writers Robin Driscoll and Paul Mayhew Archer also contributed. They brought new comedic rhythms to later episodes. The fast pace didn't hurt quality. Viewers never noticed. Curtis said deadlines forced the jokes out faster. It's rare for sitcom scripts to be so last minute and still work. That energy gave the show its spark, and it kept the humour feeling spontaneous.
But I then luckily got my first TV commission, and that...
Fact 5.
Priest would entail dressing up in a rabbit costume. I'd have had a complete rethink and taken up prostitution.
In one episode, Geraldine wears a giant bunny suit for a village event. Dawn French actually wore it for an entire day's filming. The costume was heavy, hot, and difficult to move in. French could barely see through the headpiece. Crew members guided her between takes. Inside, temperatures reached uncomfortable levels. The fluffy suit also collected dust and hay from the set. French compared it to wearing a sauna. But she stayed in character the whole time. Her physical comedy made the scene work perfectly. Children visiting the set thought she was a real mascot. She posed for photos with them between scenes. French later admitted she loved the absurdity of it. The bunny suit episode became a fan favourite. It showed her total commitment to comedy, and it proved she'd do anything for a laugh, even if it meant nearly passing out in fake fur. Fact 6. The fictional Dibley is based on real Oxfordshire villages. Filming took place mainly in Turville, Buckinghamshire.
Baby, when you talk like that, you make a woman go mad.
The church, village green and houses are all real locations. Turville has also appeared in other TV shows like Midsummer Murders. Residents often watched filming from their windows. Some even appeared as extras. The production team worked closely with locals to avoid disruption. Shops and roads were sometimes closed during shoots. Fans still visit Turville today to see Dibley in person. The tourism boost was welcomed by local businesses. Even the church used in filming holds special tours. Curtis chose the location for its storybook charm. The setting added authenticity to the series, and it felt like a real lived-in community.
Yes, I've got one.
Who from?
Me.
That realism made the comedy feel warmer, and it turned Turville into a sitcom landmark. Fact 7. Filming The Vicar of Dibley was full of laughter on and off camera.
Unusual sandwiches. What's this with a ham?
Lemon curd.
Dawn French often improvised lines to surprise co-stars. Emma Chambers, who played Alice, was notorious for breaking character. Her innocent delivery sometimes made the crew cry with laughter.
Ye are the fault of the earth, and fainted.
Outtakes from the series show entire scenes collapsing. Richard Curtis encouraged a playful atmosphere on set. He believed genuine joy made for better comedy. Some bloopers were funnier than the scripted jokes. French said filming days felt like going to a comedy club. The chemistry between cast members was genuine. They socialized together outside of work. That bond came through on screen. Even serious scenes could dissolve into giggles. The crew often needed multiple takes to get through certain lines. Curtis considered it a sign of a healthy sitcom set. And fans still love watching the behind-the-scenes bloopers.
The neigh a horse makes. That would be neigh.
Fact 8. Alice's love for animals was a running gag in the show.
Little baby face. What's his name?
Satan.
Satan. Right.
In reality, actress Emma Chambers was severely allergic to them. Many scenes required her to hold or stand near animals. She developed rashes and asthma symptoms during filming. The crew kept antihistamines on set for her. Chambers never complained and pushed through discomfort. She believed it was worth it for the laughs. French admired her professionalism despite the allergies. Sometimes stuffed animals were used instead of real ones. This allowed close-ups without triggering reactions. Chambers' dedication made Alice's quirks believable. Fans never guessed the health risk behind the jokes. It was one of the show's quiet challenges. Her commitment added another layer to her beloved performance, and it proved her devotion to making the character work. Even if it meant risking her own comfort. Fact 9. Richard Curtis knew early how he wanted the series to end. The final scene of Geraldine marrying Harry was planned seasons ahead.
Made with a bobcat and a magnificent bosom.
So I said.
Curtis wanted the show to conclude on a joyful note. The wedding allowed nearly all the villagers to appear. It felt like a true community celebration. French loved the idea from the start. The production kept it secret until filming. Cast members were emotional during the shoot. It felt like saying goodbye to family. The wedding episode was one of the most watched of the series. Fans still call it the perfect ending. Curtis said it wrapped the show in a hug. It was a rare example of a sitcom ending exactly as intended, and it left audiences smiling instead of sad.
And the barman says to his dad, that boy should have quit while he was ahead.
A fitting farewell for a much-loved vicar. Fact 10. The Vicar of Dibley was one of the first mainstream sitcoms to centre on a female clergy member.
Unless, of course, you are the new vicar and they've landed us with a woman. Some sort of insane joke.
Its success proved that audiences would embrace unconventional leads. The show consistently drew millions of viewers. It won multiple British Comedy Awards.
Her up this morning. Guess what she said?
Help?
No.
International broadcasters bought the rights, spreading it worldwide. It became a flagship BBC programme in the 1990s. French's portrayal inspired a new wave of female-led comedies. The BBC cited it as a turning point in sitcom representation. It also boosted awareness of female vicars in real life. Clergy numbers for women rose during the show's run. French said she was proud to mix laughter with change. It was a rare case of comedy influencing culture. The legacy still resonates today. It remains one of the BBC's most cherished sitcoms.
Because I'm going in!
Groundbreaking can go hand in hand. Bonus fact. Some of the most famous Vicar of Dibley moments came from charity specials. The series returned multiple times for comic relief.
To ring in with your memories of Dibley.
These sketches reunited the cast long after the main run ended. Curtis wrote them to feel like natural extensions of the show. Fans loved seeing the characters again. One special even featured Geraldine meeting the Archbishop of Canterbury. French said it was like stepping back into a warm coat. The charity episodes raised millions for good causes. They proved the show's enduring popularity. Even years after ending, Dibley could still make the nation laugh. It kept the spirit of the series alive for a new generation, and it turned comedy into real-world impact.